developing human capital, developing technology. We needed to automate. We also knew that we needed to develop physical infrastructure, the offices. Then we knew we needed to do some work around the law regulating it was then called the Revenue Board. And one of the first things we did was to ensure that we had a robust system of engaging stakeholders. And that actually worked because, like I said, when people know what the money is being used for, they will begin to pay. To the glory of God, we were able to grow revenues by about 300% in 1 year. And by the time I was leaving, we were doing, I know when I left in February 2011, we were already doing 1.5, 1.6 billion. And that continued. As we speak today, I spoke to the chairman yesterday, and he told me yesterday that he's currently doing 2.8 billion. And I'm not at liberty to disclose the numbers for April, but I know the numbers for April are not radically different, right? And he's on course, and I'm also aware that they've got a much bigger target. And what they are currently doing is that Edo has invested massively in technology. And as we speak, Edo has the second highest number of taxpayers with the taxpayers identification number in Nigeria, second to Lagos. So when you see the chairman, he's got everything on his dashboard, both on his iPad and on his phone, and sees all the revenue subhead from road taxes to direct taxes to pay as you earn. But what has happened here is first thing has been political will. The governor has been able to demonstrate, not just by words, but by action, that he wants to work. And it's giving that same political leverage to the Revenue Board to do their jobs. And if you look at it, Edo has become a model or a reference point, not just locally, but in the region. Countries from West Africa are coming to see what is being done in Edo. And because the Edo experience has been very generic, it's not been a fluke. The growth has been sustained over the last 10 years. So there's a lot to be learned. But like I said in the earlier segment, it boils down to the fact that first, Edo is growing the local economy. Edo is providing the business for you to do, environment to do your business. And there's a general investor-friendly climate. So you've got one of the most successful IPPs in the country, the Edo Azura power plant. You've got the Oshioma one on stream. You've got industries all around. So these are the guys who actually generate the positive externalities for you to tax. So all things considered, I believe that Edo has done exceedingly well. There's still room for growth. I'm aware a few things are going on that would see Edo double what it's currently doing in the foreseeable future. And to other states, they need to just invest the political capital. The political capital is what you need to invest. Because it's only when you invest the political capital that you can then engender taxpayers' confidence. When the taxpayers actually see that you really mean to do this, they will trust you and believe in you, and then begin to cooperate and pay their taxes.
While you were talking, you mentioned modular power plants, and I had to bring modular refineries. I think last year the Olugbu modular refinery was commissioned. Is there a direct correlation between, facilities like that on the local economy?
Absolutely.
Can you walk us through what it looks like?
Okay, you have a modular refinery. You would have, at the very minimum, 50 technical staff, core senior guys. You would have another maybe 100 mid-level guys, technicians and all of that. Then perhaps another 200 low-level guys. So in the plant alone, you would generate maybe 500 jobs in year one. You will pay their salaries, you will pay their pensions, you will pay their health insurance. They have families, they will do business, they will pay corporate taxes, pay education taxes, they will plan for expansion, acquire more land, pay land rates. So the impact is, unimaginable. So the point I was trying to make is that it's not just to say the woman selling peppers on Oba Market or the other one at St. Saviour. No, those are not the guys you are focusing on. What you are looking to do is to attract businesses into the state. that would not just pay their taxes, but would generate positive externalities, that is positive side effects for the state. Grow the economy, you can tax them, the economic activity and all of that. I was telling somebody on my way here, if you look at this stretch from Ramat Park, 20 years ago, Benin City did not go beyond Enyai. As a matter of fact, 10 years ago, this part of Benin did not go beyond Ramat Park. You got to Enyai, Enyai was still half and half. Today, Benin has reached Rokusa. Why? Positive externality. We had the bypass come, we had Lucky Way in Ute come, and before you knew it, it started expanding. That's the way it works. So for a state, you must invest in the infrastructure, invest in security, give them the environment, let people thrive, let the woman who is roasting corn know that she can roast corn till 8 p.m. and not be attacked. She can come out at 7 a.m. and not be attacked.
That brings us to security, okay? The current situation, security-wise in the country is nothing to write home about.
I won't even invite the investors you're talking about.
So, but Edo State has been relatively, we've stayed out of the news in terms of bad news and all that. But is it possible, or is it plausible that the effects of insecurity in neighboring states could have a ripple effect on Edo State and the economy?
Of course, you've got the domino theory in international law that says when you have conflicts in neighboring countries, it then affects country A. So if you notice, the reason why the United States and EU are interested in security in Nigeria and the Sahel is not because they love us. It's because if Nigeria disintegrates, the entire sub-region is gone. So to that extent, it is clear that we would have threats from our neighbors, Delta, Undo, Ekiti, and all of that. But that said, you hit the nail on the head, and it was what I spoke at the MBA. Edo is relatively safe now because there's been a change in strategy. Yeah, what the government simply did was to explore what we call in international relations the soft power dimensions of law enforcement. Because traditionally what you have is the traditional hard power stuff, military might, force, coercion, and, and all of that. That doesn't work for the most part, because you look at it that people would tend to follow you when you engage them, use your good offices, collaborate with them, and, try and convince them for them to want to work with you. What have we done in Edo? We've put in vigilante that are drawn from the local economy, the local communities, engage them, giving them a reason to trust that government wants to do this, giving them leverage, giving them the room to run those little areas that cover. And like you said, in the last 3 or so months, there's been peace. I go out at night. I go out at 9 p.m. I go out at 10 p.m. They look at you. Those guys know where they're in. Because they are from that neighborhood. They know the people there. They know the strange faces. They would ask you questions. They are very polite, and they let you go. So like I told them at the MBA conference, we must abandon the mentality of use of force. Use of force would come, but we must begin to look at the softer side, the softer law dimensions of power, and say, how do we engage people in such a way as to develop that confidence and that understanding to make them understand that, yes, we want to do law enforcement, but we know that on the emotional and, creative side, you are connected with them.
Is that what you refer to in your speech as development cost of security?
No. The development cost, we looked at it as the cost of war. Because the title of the or the theme of the Law Week was the imperative cost of security, and one of the things I pointed out that one of the cost of security is that you retard development is the first thing. Once there's insecurity, there cannot be development because GDP would drop, people wouldn't pay taxes, people wouldn't go to the farms, people wouldn't go to work. And once you cannot guarantee security, then you can't have economic development. So one of the things I told them that there's a direct correlation between security and development. And for us, in resolving that dilemma, you must then throw in soft power, that is using good offices, using your emotions and using your intellect to actually convince these people, as opposed to using hard power or force to coerce them or to pull them down.
So where does soft power and hard power, where do they intersect?
Yeah, the convergence, I spoke to it there. The convergence is what we call smart power. So at the convergence of soft and hard power is smart power. So you then have your military force on the one hand, your military might on the one hand, your powers to coerce on the one hand. And then also show them that, look, guys, I can strike if I want to strike, but I would rather engage you for us to understand where I'm coming from and for you to understand my philosophy that I want security, I want peace, I want development. Let's work together. And that's how you do community policing. So at the heart of community policing is the intersection between soft and hard power. And we call that smart power.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, Dr. Ware, you've spoken to a lot of issues. You've attacked so many issues here. You've talked about the economy and, of course, the state's drive for revenue. Because we're almost out of time, we have maybe like 1 minute. If there is one thing you could improve in the state at the moment, what would that be?
But while he's answering, if you want to react to anything that he has said or he will say, you can send us a text message to 0807 400 9076 or WhatsApp 0812 178 9154. You could go ahead.
Right.
One thing I want to improve.
If there's one thing you could improve.
In what capacity now?
I mean, if you had the power, okay, to improve on one thing in the state, it's an improvement. They say nothing is so good that it can never be improved upon. What would that be?
No, I think you just want the investment climate to be more, to reinforce the ongoing reforms in terms of investment. And secondly, I also know what they are doing in terms of the creative industry. I believe we have an opportunity to harness our creative industry potential. And I think efforts are being done there with the new project in Okoromi, with Decagon, and what is going on at Observer, where we're trying to train, I think, about 20,000 IT workers and, animators and all of that. I think there's a huge opportunity for us in the creative space, and that would, for me, have a direct correlation on not just the economy, but on security.
So these are the two things you feel that could happen or it should happen as quickly as possible.
No, I think can be improved, can be scaled up. I know it's currently going on, but it can be scaled up.
All right, this is where we must thank you very much, Dr. Ese Owieh. Dr. Ese Owieh, international trade policy expert, yeah. And of course, Dr. Ese Owieh presented the keynote address at the NBA Law Week. I think that was 2 days ago, but the Law Week actually continues today. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ese Owieh, for coming. Wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you very much. And thanks, Orlando, and thanks. Good to see you again, Charles.
All right. That's the size of the package this morning. Yeah, of course, continue to be a good Nigerian. Stay home, stay safe, and take good care of yourself. My name is Charles Oporum.
I am God's Love Orlando. Good morning.
Don't you touch that down.